I stole 2 million Namibian dollars from a German man, and what he did to me when I went to Dubai going to meet him, it was something that I can't even forget. This is me as anonymous. I'll call myself Helena. Please, Nashim, post my story. Right now, if I sent you the pictures of whom I used to be back in those days, you won't even believe it. These days, I walk with a limp, and I'm still staying here in Windhoek, and I was never involved in an accident. They broke my bone on my left leg when I was in Dubai after I had tried to flee from that house where they had been keeping me as a prisoner because they were using me as part of their prostitution business. All of this, it started with me dating a German guy who used to come to Namibia, for I am Namibian. I ended up scamming the wrong German man. I scammed him for 2 million Namibian dollars. It was in 2014. I thought that I was the cleverest girl in Namibia when I sold the term a bag of fake diamonds. I thought that I had won in life. I did not know that for each and every cent that we stole for him when we were in squad command, I would pay back with a drop of my own blood. I was going to be kept in Dubai as a prisoner, working for 2 million until they had been satisfied. I spent almost 8 years in Dubai, and I am telling you everything that happened to me. When I was only 23, I used to be part of a syndicate here in Windhoek. We were not a violent gang, we were just smooth. My brother, he was the one who started with that whole business of scamming foreigners. We knew how to spot what we used to call marketeers. These were white foreigners who came to Namibia. They came to Namibia looking for cheap and polished diamonds. Then that was when we met a guy. He was a German that I started sleeping around with, even though he was married. I'll call him the term. I met him at a high-end lodge, and he was way older than me, but he had money, so I really did not care. I would give him whatever that he wanted. He was obsessed with me, and he was obsessed with sleeping with me, even though he wanted me to perform some weird sexual acts with him. And he wanted these blood diamonds to smuggle them back to Europe. And me and my brother and our partners, we would spend weeks and weeks grooming the person that we wanted to scam. With this guy, we spent 2 weeks grooming him. We took him around, me and him, we were like lovers, eating expensive seafood. We made him feel like he was going to get married to me, for he told me that he always wanted to marry a black woman. Then the deal happened. When this deal happened, we showed him a bag of rough stones, and these rough stones, if you look at them under a blue light, they look perfect. He did not know that these were your high quality synthetic crystals that we were sourcing from a contact in South Africa. There was a white man that used to make these high quality synthetic crystals for us. Dite was so excited. He paid us 2 million Namibian dollars in cash right there at the hotel where we were. We did not wait for him to check everything twice. The moment that the briefcase that had the money was in our hands, we disappeared into the night. We split the money 3 ways. I took my share, and then I went back to Windhoek. I felt like I was going to be enjoying life. I did not know what Tite had in mind for me after he had seen that the diamonds that we had sold to him, they were all fake. I felt like I was on top of the world. I felt like I was a queen. Then I bought a GTI. I moved into a luxury apartment, and I started popping bottles almost at each and every club, started dating guys that were wealthy. In my mind, I laughed at the term because I thought that he was a stupid tourist. We called him a stupid tourist, and he was someone that had more money, and we said that these Germans, they had stolen more from us, and this was our own form of reparations. I thought that the game was over and I had won the trophy. I did not know and I did not realize in time that Dite was not just a businessman, he was a man with many connections that reached far beyond our Namibian border. Whilst I was busy buying designer shoes and posting my soft life on social media, he was tracing my each and every move, waiting for the perfect moment to come and to collect the money that I owed him with interest. He lured me to Dubai with a fake apology. 6 months passed. I had already spent half of that money that you did not work hard for. That money, it can just be gone within a very short period of time. One evening, I received a message on WhatsApp. This message, it was from a foreign number. My heart stopped when I saw the profile picture. It was Dite. I wanted to block him immediately, but the message read, "Helena, don't be scared. I know that the stones that you gave to me, they were fake. My clients were angry, but I managed to sell them to someone else who really did not even know that they were fake diamonds, or they did not care. Actually, Helena, I want more business with you. For your hustle, it impressed me. I need someone with your talents in my Dubai office. I should have known better, but greed is like a disease, Brother Nashi." Dite started sending me small gifts now and then. 1 week, it was 10,000 Namibian dollars for lunch. The next week, it was $50,000. This was a sign of good faith that he had forgiven me and we apologized to each other. He told me that he had since divorced his wife, and me getting to Dubai, we were going to get married immediately, and he would deposit this money into my account. He told me that he was going to he was going to open an international consultancy firm in Dubai, and he wanted me to be the face for his African market, the diamonds as well as the gold. He then said to me, "Come to me, Helena. You don't need to stay in Windhoek anymore. I want you here in Dubai." He said, "In Dubai, we can make even 2 million each and every month. You and I, we can start a family together." I spoke with my cousin. My cousin did not want me to go to Dubai. Even my cousin's friend, he said, "Please do not go there. Helena, this man is just playing you." But I looked at the money that he had been giving to me, and I looked at my fading bank balance because I had been chopping the money. I did not even make any investment at all from the money that I had gotten after we had scammed him the 2 million. I was chopping that money and I really did not care. I told myself that if I use more money, if I spend money, I will eventually get married to a man that was wealthy. You will be thinking that I am a wealthy woman. So I then chose to believe the lie that he was going to give me a better life in Dubai. Then it was in October of 2014 when I made a fatal mistake. Dite then sent me a business class ticket, and then I boarded the plane, and then I went after I had packed my best outfits, thinking that I was going to be a boss lady in the Middle East. When I landed at Dubai International, there was a black SUV that was waiting for me. I felt like a superstar. The SUV took me into a massive walled villa in Emirates Hill. The gates, they closed behind us, and I was excited to see Dite. He was waiting for me in the lounge. The moment that I entered into the lounge, he got up. I saw that he was not friendly. He was not that friendly, romantic German that I used to speak with on WhatsApp. He had been holding a bag of the fake diamonds that I had sold to him when we were in Squacommand. He threw them at my feet, and then he said to me, "Did you think that a little girl like you from Namibia can steal my money and walk away with it?" He grabbed my handbag, he took my passport, and then he took this gold lighter. I'll never forget it. And then I watched my Namibian passport turning into ashes right there on the marble floor. "You owe me 2 million, he said, plus the flights, the lunch money. and the interest for my wasted time. You are not going to leave this house until the debt is zero. All of that soft life that I had in mind when I had left in Namibia, it ended right there. I was now going to be a prostitute, not being a prostitute to benefit my own self, but to pay back the 2 million that I did not spend on my own. I spent it with my cousin and our partners, but he did not care about that. He laughed at me when I told him that it was not fair. I was willing to work, but not to work for the rest of the 2 million. He said, I knew you before I knew your cousin and the other thieves. From 2014 to 2022, my life, it was a nightmare. I was living in a repetitive nightmare. Detail did not just want his money back. He wanted to break me, and he broke me. So this place where I was staying, the villa, it was a gentleman's club for the elite, and they made us to do things that were really gross. It's like guys, when they are rich, they just want to humiliate women, and they want to do bad things to women. And they liked me because of my age, and they would always choose me to do all of those horrific stuff. I learned to have anal sex with a man, not because I wanted to, but because they used to force me. Somehow they did not want to sleep with me the natural way. They always preferred the other way. It was some satanic stuff that was happening. I was forced to work each and every night, every single night, no rest. There were other girls that were there. Some were from Eastern Europe, some from Nigeria, and I was the only Namibian. And whenever there were high-paying customers, Detail would prefer me to go and serve those customers because he wanted his money quick. He would always say, I want my money just in case if you die. You can imagine the fear that it brought to me. Someone telling you that they want their money just in case if you die. The things that were happening there, they were quite scary. The rules were very simple. If I did not make a certain amount of tips from the guest, I was not allowed to eat the next day. I was forced into high-end services that I don't even have the words to describe without crying. You've read about Dubai Porta Potty, right? Those rumors, they are not rumors. I can tell you that when men have too much money, it's like they stop being humans. They lose their humanity. They want to treat you as a woman as if you are an animal, like a sexual object, just because they can. The term will stand in the corner and watch me being taken by 3, 4, 5 guys at the same time. They will be sleeping with me, and they will be counting the cash that you would have gotten from the guests. I never saw a cent of that money, but he would send some of the money to my mom just for their upkeep so that they won't suspect that I was being prostituted in Dubai. Every time when I would ask him how much was left on my debt, because I really had no idea, he would laugh and say, the interest, sweetie, went up today, Helena. You are still at 0. Maybe in 10 years you would have finished paying my money. I lived in a small room. It was in the basement. It had no windows. I only knew that it was New Year when I will hear the distant sound of the fireworks, usually from the Burj Khalifa. When we would go out, we went out with heavy security. It was always scary. I never saw the sun like in a normal way, in a healthy way. When they would say that maybe we are getting sick, that is when they would take us out, and then they would make us to sit outside. At first, they used to ignore this, but then we started to look like zombies because we could not even see the sun for more than 3-4 months, and we started to get a lot of diseases. They were then told by the doctor, who used to come and check on us, as well as to make sure that we were not pregnant. If you fall pregnant, the doctor will make you to have a forced abortion. The doctor then told them that each and every day we were supposed to go out and exercise, and we were supposed to be given healthy food. Otherwise, we won't be as attractive as they wanted us to be. I forgot my own mom. As for my family, Deter made me to send pre-recorded videos and pictures to my family back home, smiling. And in that house, there was a place where they would go and make you take pictures. Then you will pretend as if you are in your office, but it was fake life. And I had to smile and say that I'm too busy to chat with her because we are busy with some big contracts. If I did not look happy enough, you would beat me in places where it won't show to the men that would come to sleep with me. He would hit me until I could not stand. He used to laugh it when he would hit me on my kneecaps with a belt until you could not stand anymore. I survived simply by turning my mind off. I became like a zombie. I did what I was told to do when I was told to do it. I endured everything. I watched the other girls die in that same villa. There was this other girl, she was from Nigeria. Already when she was taken from Nigeria, she was a drug addict. So they kept on feeding her the drugs, and they really did not care about limiting the drugs that she would take. They would just throw in a plastic bag full of the drugs. You can imagine a drug addict that is being kept indoors all the times. And what is that drug addict going to do? They're going to take a lot of drugs, right? That is what used to happen to this woman. She would take so much drug and she would collapse. Even she would have some seizures. She would just fall down and she will start to shake so violently, and she died of an overdose. There was another girl who also was pregnant, and when they tried to make him to have an abortion, things just went bad and she ended up dying as well. They moved out the bodies of those that had passed away in a laundry bag. I realized that my life was worth nothing. He was going to make sure that he squeezed each and every drop out of me until I was dead. For 8 years, I was just a prostitute, and I was staying in a room which they called room number 4. The world changed pretty much. It was during COVID, because at the villa, we were already used to being in lockdown at all the times. By 2022, I think that the security started becoming sloppy. They did not care that much. Maybe he had reached his targets. There was this new cleaner who was a woman from Kenya, and they were also running a brothel. I'll call her Faith. She was running a brothel with other Nigerians. What she did, this Kenyan woman, was that whenever there was a girl that was being kidnapped by the Arabs, they would try to make her to flee, but you just end up with the Nigerians. But as for the Nigerians, they were better, because they will cut a deal with you. If you make money, they take a certain percentage. The harder that you work for them, the more the amount, and they always organized for you to send money, and your relatives will go and they would collect money from the other Nigerians in your country. So they have a brothel there that they had set up. So this girl, she managed to smuggle a lot of stuff for us, and we would call each other, we would talk. Even at night, I was not even allowed to have a phone, but this woman, she made it possible that I have a phone. This lady then explained everything to me. It was me and this other woman who was from Nigeria. We then decided to leave. We ran away from that villa, and then we went to that woman's house. We slept at her house. The next day, she then took us to these Nigerians. We stayed there at the brothel. Yes, we were servicing mainly men that are from Africa that are working in Dubai, those that do not have their wives with them in Dubai. So they always wanted to be with a woman. It was a little bit better being with an African man, being treated much better, even though it was still prostitution. There was only one way for me to return back to Namibia. I had to be deported. I was finally deported and I came back to Namibia. When I came back, I really did not have a lot of money. I came back with almost nothing after spending so many years there in Dubai, and I started a small boutique. I'm just trying to survive life. When I returned back, no money, no GTI, and I had completely been changed because of the things that those men did to me. As for my old partners from the diamond scam, my cousin, he was killed in a car high-speed chase in 2018, and the other one, who was a friend of my cousin, he is serving. I heard that they gave him 15 years at Windhoek Central Prison. This is my life. I live with my auntie. She owns a small house, and every time that I see women posting about soft life or maybe being in Dubai, I tremble, because when I see this young Namibian woman who love to go on vacations with white men to Dubai, it really makes me to feel scared, because I don't know what is happening behind the cameras. There are times when I get so much triggered even when I see the pictures of Dubai, because it brings back old memories of the bad things that happened to me when I went to Dubai. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Let us speak with him in the comment section. If you have ever been to Dubai with a blesser, you can come to our inbox and you share with us your own side of the story.